Hi everyone, it's Aga from eurocrystalbeads.com and I'm here with another fun beading tutorial for you, very easy this time. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you always know when we're posting new content. What I have for you today is this really simple and fun memory wire bracelet. It's going to be kind of a two-strand one because we have some two-hole beads. I'm going to show you a really neat sequence in which you can add these beads to make a really juicy and fruity colored spring/summer bracelet. So what we're going to need is obviously memory wire, and this one comes with these end beads that are in the same color. But you can also, if you don't have these end beads, or if you just have memory wire without the end beads, you can also use half drilled drug beads that we also carry, so do check that out. We're also going to need beads, and here I have these Ginkgo beads, I have these brick beads, I have Toho round 11 in this really the brightest orange I could find, and I have some 3mm drug beads. So when it comes to beads, this is what we're going to need. And when it comes to the tools, basically the only thing you need is cutting pliers. We also have some memory wire cutting pliers. These are regular side pliers because they're old and I don't mind them being a little, damaged after I use them on memory wire because it's, super hard. And technically you're not supposed to cut it with just regular side cutting pliers, but they can do it. So if you have ones that you don't mind getting blunt on that, then use these. I also have some glue. This is E6000, but you can also use like quick drying adhesives like Zappa Gap, and they will work just as well. Just for this one, you're going to want to wait a little bit after we glue the ends so that they don't fall off as you do your stuff. Okay, let's start. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to cut the good amount of memory wire that we need, and we're going to need 2 separate loops for that. So I'm just taking my cutting pliers, and this is where it naturally falls, and I just want a little bit over that so that I can later, when I'm finishing the sequence, I can finish it wherever I want, and depending on what your wrist size is, you're going to be able to adjust this as well. So I'm taking a little bit more than a full circle. So that's one, and I'm going to cut off another one more or less like that. Okay, so now I have 2 coils, 2 circles, just like that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is to glue an end bead on one of the ends of each circle. And remember to use this glue in a well-ventilated space because it can get smelly. So I just unscrew it, and I'm just gonna dunk the end of this. I'm just going to dunk the end of this wire in the glue, not too much, just a tiny little bit. And I'm gonna take my bead. This is where the hole is. And I'm gonna put it gently over the end of the wire. You can just give it a little massage so that the glue gets inside. Okay, and now I'm going to add an end bead to this end as well. So again, just dunking it in the glue, not too much, just a bit. And I find the hole in the bead and pressing it onto the wire. Now, actually, a good way to secure it is if you have a little bit of glue still on that ball over here, is you can add 1 11 that's going to start our sequence. And you can just press it onto that glue so that it gets stuck to it as well. And that you have 2 elements securing the wire at the end. There. So this is the start of our bracelet. Right like this. And now I'm going to allow it to dry for an hour or so. Ideally, I would wait a whole night, but I don't have the patience for that. And if you're using a quick drying glue like Zap-A-Gap, you'll probably be able to start your bracelet and start adding your beads pretty much within seconds. Okay, I'll come back to you in a few hours when this is a little bit dried. Okay guys, it's been about 2 hours and we are ready to do the stringing. So this is the sequence that I'm going to be working in. So we already have one Toho 11.0 on here. And I'm going to add Ginkgo bead in this direction. Then one drug bead on each of the wires. And then another Ginkgo bead, an 11.0, a brick bead, an 11.0, and so forth and so on. Okay, and we are going to be working with both of the wires at once in the way that we're going to string things on them like this, like on both of them at once. Let me show you. And I'm going to do it actually from this side. It's like the same end of the sequence, but I think it will be easier to see in this way because I'm just picking up a bead in the very same direction and just putting it on both of the wires. Just like that. I'm just going to put it to the very end, slide it there to show you what it will look like. So it will be like this. It's gonna be a little hard because these ends are in the way, but anyhow, right now it's time for the 3mm drug beads. One on this wire and one on this wire, like that. And then another Ginkgo bead, and this time I'm putting it on in the opposite direction. So from this kind of I don't know what to call it, pointy side. So I'm just sliding it on. Let me just slide it all the way through so that you can see. There. Okay, again making sure that I'm holding the wires right so that they're sort of not like crisscrossed. Okay, time for the two 11.0s. You can pick them up by hand or you can use pliers if you prefer. And I'm just going to continue with the pattern until I've made a full circle around both of the wires. Okay guys, I have all my beads on my memory wire. This took like 10 minutes, which is remarkably short for a piece of jewelry if you don't count all the glue drying and stuff. Anyhow, just make sure that all of the beads are slid all the way to the end of the bracelet. There will be some wire showing, but I think this actually looks kind of nice. As I've noticed with some of the brick beads, they don't kind of slide smoothly, and sometimes you need to like push them so that they sit nice and tight with all the other beads. But my beads are secure on the wire, and I just need to cut the wire so that the ends can be glued into the end beads. So just about like this much or even less, like this much. It is likely that my 11.0s will fall out as I cut, fall off the wire, but it doesn't matter that much. That's one. And I'll make sure that the other one is more or less the same length, like over here. And just make sure that you're leaving enough of the length for the ball to be secured You can just not cut as much as you would like, and you can take off one of the 11 O's, try on the bead as far as it goes, and see more or less if it falls, if the end of it falls on the, like, the beginning of the 11 O that's right next to it. So I know that this is more or less enough. So I put back my 11 O. Right, that's it. I can just pull on these a little bit so that everything is nice and tight over there. And now it's time for the gluing. And for this you really need fresh glue that is malleable and not like dry goop. So I dunk it and put my end bead on, making sure that the glue is actually inside. Just wiggling it a little bit. And I'm pressing the 11O with it so that it's more secure. And the other one, it's gonna be a little more difficult because, you know, it's next to that ball here. But there's some glue. And the one on the other side is still drying, so you don't need to worry about that. And there's some glue. Now putting on the other ball. Making sure the glue is inside. And pressing the 11O to it. Okay, now I just need to wait for it to dry. And close my glue, obviously, so that it doesn't dry off. So this is the finished bracelet. I think it looks real juicy and fruity and summery. It reminds me of like melons and oranges and papayas and dragon fruits and I don't know, blueberries maybe, these dark blue ones. So it's very joyful to me and I hope you will enjoy making it. All the materials that I have shown you in this video can be found at eureka-crystalbeads.com. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!